All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. If you guys are not subscribed already and enjoy this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. But in the meantime, pitter patter, let's just get right into today's video. We're going to talk about the Houston Rockets' biggest weakness, in my opinion. Now, there's a couple of holes with the Houston Rockets as of right now, and I would say the big three are still the top three are still the three that were an issue before preseason. And I would put it at this. There's no backup point guard. We could use another wing, preferably a wing defender, but I don't know. Judging off of the way the preseason went and how our defense was pretty good, I would say that a good wing defender isn't as needed as we thought it was. So I wouldn't even classify that yet as a need until later on in the season, or at least till we see a better sample size of the regular season games and how the defense is going. But I personally, and not every Rockets fan agrees with this, but personally, I still think the Rockets need a backup big. Boogie's only going to be playing, 25 minutes a night, max 30. I don't see him really getting 30, but max 25 a night. Obviously, we got PJ Tucker. We've got Christian Wood. However, I think just an interior big man who, obviously, it's preferred if they can shoot, but honestly, I don't think that it's even needed for them to shoot. I think it's just would be nice to have a backup big. I don't even know if they would need to play in the regular season, but when you got certain matchups against certain teams, especially coming off the bench, kind of like a JaVale McGee, like a Dwight Howard, I feel like we would greatly benefit from just having that on our team, kind of putting it in the back pocket. Some guys we've talked about in the past are free agent-wise Dwayne Dedmon, and then trade-wise Miles Turner. I think Miles Turner's perfect for this role. I just love it so much. I think once PJ Tucker's gone, I think Miles Turner could really come in here. You guys got to remember DeMarcus Cousins is on a one-year contract. So say he doesn't come here next year, we still have a young Miles Turner who's growing. He can shoot the ball. He can defend. Obviously, he's got his flaws, but he's a young player, and, that's what we want. We want more athletic, younger players. So that's just my opinion, but our biggest weakness right now to me is there's no backup point guard. And even if Chris Clemens was still healthy, I would still say, that's an area that the Rockets should possibly consider, is getting a more maybe veteran backup point guard like Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose on defense would, not be great, but same goes with Isaiah Thomas. A lot of fans want Isaiah Thomas. I'm a little indifferent on Isaiah Thomas because, defensively, he is a huge vulnerability. However, he wouldn't be playing that many minutes. You got to think that once John Wall is out, you got to think James Harden will be playing point. So it makes you think, is Eric Gordon, because Eric Gordon wants to stick with one unit. So it seems as if Coach Silas is having Eric Gordon stick with the second unit. So does that mean currently I would have to assume Eric Gordon will be taking ball handling responsibilities, for our point guard? The issue is when John Wall is out, Eric Gordon's not going to want to come in and start because it's a totally different unit and it's going to throw him off. So that's where I see a backup point guard coming in greatly. If our backup point guard is starting games and it's a backup point guard like Isaiah Thomas, that's just a huge defensive vulnerability. Personally, I'm a huge fan of Derrick Rose as well. I know Derrick Rose isn't great on the defensive end, but he's certainly better than Isaiah Thomas. He's a walking bucket if he wants to. He's still got it. I think that honestly, Derrick Rose is my choice. I would have to say Derrick Rose is my choice if we're talking free agents. Just from what's out there right now, I'd still take a gamble on Isaiah Thomas if I'm the Houston Rockets if the price is right. If the price isn't right, I would possibly look in Shabazz's direction. He's a pretty decent three-point shooter. Pretty average player. But he's gonna work hard. I don't think that Shabazz or Isaiah Thomas really. I don't think that. I think it could go either way, and it won't make that big of a difference. I don't think the backup point guard, whether it's one or the other of those two guys, I don't think unless it's a player like Derrick Rose, I don't think that they're really going to change much. So I'm not a huge fan of signing Isaiah Thomas. I'm not a huge fan of signing any point guard unless they're, a decent veteran. I'm just a huge fan of going after Derrick Rose. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on Derrick Rose. If we get Derrick Rose and Miles Turner, that's a lot of value we're giving up. I don't know how we would swing that, but I think one or the other, preferably if you ask me, I'd rather go after Derrick Rose than Miles Turner just because it's going to be an issue. Now, if James Harden were to go, I would have to go Miles Turner just for longevity. It's a younger player. So let me know what you guys think. Kind of split on this decision. I've been split on it for a while. I mean, opening night was supposed to be last night, so I don't really know what they were going to do as far as backup point guards go. You got to think it's going to be Eric Gordon, but we'll see, man.